Hello everyone, welcome back to Load the Coins. Today we'll go over an analysis of chainlink. We'll cover the macro and micro outlook, whether we are bullish or bearish in each, and how I came to my thesis. Then we'll go over how to get into positions accordingly. So in terms of the macro, we've just been in this macro range, just literally just bouncing, pretty picture perfectly within this range. We have a few deviations here, but that's honestly perfectly fine. But when you have ranges like this, you want to take your FRVP and then set it to the range so you can find the POC. The POC is the point of control, or where the most of the volume took place, most of the orders. A lot of times when you have ranges, that is where the price is usually attracted to, and it'll either find support or resistance around that level. So when you have a range like this, you have your discount zone, which is the bottom, and then you have your premium zone, which is the top. Generally, it's good to buy in the premium, and it's good to sell it's good to buy in the discount and good to sell in the premium. So now that we have price in the discount, the POC towards the middle, that's already two confluences that price is wanting to head back up. But if we talk about just the macro terms for chainlink, I'm more convinced that we're going to break down out of this range than break up. My reason is that I'm just still more bearish on the economy, and in terms of price action, if we're continue to set higher lows, I would be more inclined to think that chainlink might break out to the top. But now that we set a lower low, I'm more inclined to believe that now we will set a lower high and then ultimately break down. So this is just a very quick, a very quick thought of mine on the macro for chainlink. So let me get rid of these. So yeah, just on the macro, that is kind of what I'm thinking. And in terms of the short term and entries for either long or short, we'll get into those very shortly. So we're going to go down to the 4 hour. You usually want to have 3 time frames when you trade. You want your higher time frame to kind of get your macro picture of what you think is going to happen. You want your trading time frame, which is the time frame where you plan your trade on. And then you want your execution time frame. Usually I like to use a 5 or 15 minute for my execution. That is how you really nail in exact entries into your trades. So on the 4 hour, we'll take a look at this. If you guys see my Bitcoin video, let me show you my chart for Bitcoin. This is kind of my idea for Bitcoin, where we'll hit the zone of very high confluence and we'll end up reversing. This is also in line with the midweek reversal theory, where price tends to reverse in the middle of the week. So if you guys haven't seen my latest Bitcoin technical analysis video, I'd definitely go and check that out. So back to Chainlink. Chainlink's looking pretty similar here, where we have this fair value gap. If you guys understand that markets are just straight up run on liquidity, you guys will know that these fair value gaps tend to get filled, the majority of the time. So I'll kind of show you what I mean. So we'll actually go down to the 1 hour here, and then let me show you this. So I'm just going to be marking out a lot of the fair value gaps that we have, and you'll see that they're almost perfectly covered by candles. So we had a fair value gap right here, covered by this candle right here. Just gonna look for more right here, perfectly covered right here, gap on this candle, perfectly covered by this. You have a fair value gap right here. You can see that this candle didn't cover it all the way, but if we kind of go across, this is where we reverse right on that gap or the covering of that imbalance. So now if you mark the two other ones that I see so far, there's one right here and another one right here. So I'm actually going to go ahead and erase the ones that already got filled. And usually I like to do this on the 1 hour, but a lot of other time frames just, they work. And the more fair value gaps you can find on more time frames, the more confidence and idea you have on where price is going to go. So now that we have this, we can see that there are a few fair value gaps that want to get filled. So in terms of the macro direction that I think Bitcoin is heading, I think it's upwards towards this larger fair value gap, which is like this right here. So I think price will end up hitting up here to eventually fill this and then reverse back down. That also goes in line with my theory that we set a lower low and then we'll set a lower high. Something along the lines of this. Another way that I find reversals in the market is my strategy of finding sweeps and change characters. So since this price action is kind of big, I'm going to go back to my trading time frame of 4 hour, and I'll identify the sweep, which is right here. So pretty much the sweep is where market makers will sweep out anyone who went long a little too early. They'll set their stop losses and they'll get swept out. Then you have your change of character, which is the lowest high, or the lowest low. No, sorry, the lowest high that does the sweep. So go right here, and I'll denote that by Y. So now that that is broken, this is known as a change of character or a broken base. Once you get the sweep and the broken base, that is pretty much confirmation of a reversal in the market. So this is pretty much what we can see now. So this is on the 4 hour, and this is you want to find this on the time frame that you're trading on. For example, I'm going to go down to the 1 hour. You know how I said that we're going up, but if you go to the 1 hour, you can actually see that. I'm going to delete these. On the 1 hour, we actually have a sweep right here. And a broken base or a change of character. Right here. So now that we have that, for the short term, we're actually looking bearish, which is perfect. This actually goes straight in line with this fair value gap where we'll set a lower high, just filling this fair value gap, and then coming back down to fill this, giving us an entry for long. So this is what I'm kind of expecting on the short term, and this is how I'm going to set up my long trade. So I have a long position kind of set towards the bottom of the fair value gap, and the low and my stop loss set right below the swing low. So something you can do as well is that so actually you want to identify this zone of demand first. So you just take the last black candle or the last down candle. I'm gonna make this green because it's bullish. So you can set your entry right on the last down candle here, and then set your stop loss underneath this order block. And that's kind of what you can expect price to do, is to go up, fill this fair value gap, come down, fill this fair value gap, give you an entry, and then reverse back up. And just like how we found a reversal here, a lot of times I won't really set limit orders, and rather I'll kind of watch price action. And this is kind of my secret to finding, really good entry and, confirmed entries into your trades. Instead of just kind of setting your limits and just risking your money, this is how I maintain a very, very high win rate. So as price is going down, I'll look for the same type of reversal, because a lot of times you'll get your low, you get your sweep, which is right here. You get your broken base, and this generates a zone of demand. a new zone of demand right here. And a lot of times what happens is that price will reverse to fill all of the orders before going back up. And this is my entry. That is my secret to, entering trades, very, very precisely and accurately. And the reason you want to do that is, even though you have so much confluence in this area, you don't really have a confirmation reversal until, you get the sweep and change of character. Price can just easily, do that. Maybe sweep out these equal lows first. Maybe there's a big wick down. If you don't want to get wicked out of your position, I recommend that you use my strategy of finding the sweep and the change of character and entering on the retap of demand. Let's see. So you can see that price is actually heading up to fill this fair value gap right now. So, this is kind of giving me even more confidence that kind of just what I'm talking about right now is, kind of playing out. So let's see. We'll also look at this zone up here. So I'm going to take the fib from this swing high to this swing low. And you can also see that this fair value gap is right in this golden pocket, right here. We'll even take the POCs right here. And you can see, I'll draw a ray here. We actually have the weekly POC down here. Oh man, that is not what I wanted to make. Okay, sorry. So the weekly POC is right here. I just marked it with the ray. I'm gonna write weekly POC. And you can see that we have the previous week's POC. These are areas where we can find a lot of resistance or support. And usually we'll find bounces off these, or you find support off these. And you can use these as confluence for taking either short trades or long trades as well. So now that we have this, we don't really see any POCs in this area up here. So I'm gonna get rid of this now. I am gonna go to the daily and mark out the range POC, which is right here. Go back to the 1 hour. This is the range POC. So now that we have all of this, the golden pocket is the zone between the 0.618 and the 0.65. This is a really, really sweet spot for price to go back to. And this also just kind of goes in line with the theory that we're going to end up filling this fair value gap like this. It's almost picture perfect right here. And usually when you fill fair value gaps, you also want to tap into a zone of demand. In this case, it'll be a zone of supply, which is the last candle before the move down. This is a pretty big zone of demand, so you can always go down to lower time frames to get a smaller one. But let's see. I honestly don't really mind this zone of supply right here. I'm gonna make it red because it's bearish. I think if anything, we'll see price action like this, kind of barely tap into this, if we even kind of tap into this at all. But this is kind of the price action I'm expecting. Something to look like this, and something I advocate in my Discord, and just kind of, just as a trader, I always say to read and react to the market instead of trying to predict it. Pretty much all you want to do is draw out your key levels and get your areas of confluence, and then you want to read price action and react to the market. This is by far the best way to maintain the highest win rate when you're trading. This way you don't really have to guess. If price is going up here and you're not really gaining any reversal and price might just keep on climbing, then you don't get your automatically entry here and just hit your stop loss or something. You want to watch how price acts, and then you want to react accordingly. So for example, when price is going to be up here, I'm going to watch for the sweep And then let me actually draw that. You get your sweep. Then I'm gonna kind of watch price, see what it does. You know, once we get this price action, price would have generated another zone of supply right here. Once I have this, I'm gonna watch price to see it tap back in, and this will be my entry. Set my stop right above, and watch price come back down. The reason I'll be very, very confident of this is because we'll also have this change of character right here. If you guys are pretty unfamiliar with the sweep and change of character, I do have a price action video that goes, you know, fairly into detail on this, so make sure to check that out as well. So, just to recap, macro, I think we're bearish. Micro and short term, I think we'll see a little bit of down. I'm gonna try to find an entry into a long position, and then I think we'll see up. I'm gonna try to find an entry into a short position and kind of write this down. In terms of long term, I think the short would be very, very good, and I think this will be, in my opinion, I think this might be kind of the final short before we see a larger down move on chainlink. And if we do see a larger down move, so actually let me find another chart here, something with a little bit more history on chainlink. Oh, I have one over here. So hold on, let me open this up. We're just gonna go over certain levels that chainlink can go to once we drop. So chainlink's like right here. You can see that we actually have a fair value gap right here. And this is on the daily. And then we honestly just have, you know, this zone of demand. I'm gonna make this green. You know, this whole thing is pretty much a zone of demand, but although I wouldn't enter here, mainly due to the fact that we have a lot of relatively equal lows. If you guys follow my channel, you guys know that relatively equal lows, for the most part, they get swept. You know, more often than not, they'll just get swept by either wicks or just, you know, candle closes. So you don't really want to set your entries. In this case, you don't want to set it right above relatively equal lows, because if you have your entry here, you might just get wicked out. So with that said, I would probably look for price in, I think this would be fine. These relatively equal lows are actually kind of further down. I just wouldn't enter like here. I wouldn't enter, you know, kind of in this area of demand. There's a lot of relatively equal lows right here, but I think this one could be okay around the $4 to 4.5 mark. You have a zone of demand right here. You know, that's not bad. Oh wow, we're getting to the $1 chain link. I don't think it'll get this low, but you know, cross my fingers. If we do get here, those would be good times to DCA for sure. I think Chainlink's a great project. I'm still pretty bullish on this project. So in terms of levels, these are what I'm looking at. Let's see if I can drag these out. And then we'll get another view with everything else. All right, so now that we have this level, if we do drop, this is actually what I'm, you know, just, you know, I'm doing these analysis live, so I'm sorry if I make any mistakes. Please point them out in the comments. I'll definitely go through and fix it and post it on my Discord. So, but yeah, I'm expecting price to, let me get rid of this fib. I'll just go over a quick recap again. Expect price to kind of do this, and then do this. You know, if you guys want the TLDR, this is it right here. So yeah, If you guys enjoy this type of content where I just go through really quickly the macro, the micro, outlook on a chart, and then just how I plan my entries, make sure to leave a like and a comment, and let me know so I can do more of these, or I can stop and make something else. So yeah, just let me know down in the comments, and yeah, if you guys like this, just leave a like, and yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.